Good morning students. This is the sixth lecture for proton NMR spectroscopy. In the yesterday's class we discussed about the coupling constant. Now in the today's class we are going to discuss about the factors that are affecting the coupling constant value, as well as the few examples how to study for their proton NMR spectrum, the examples which are included in the syllabus. The first topic is the factors that are affecting the coupling constant value. Factors affecting J value. Factor affecting the J value. The first and prime factor is effect of hybridization. There are two factors included in the syllabus. The first factor is the effect of hybridization. Now we have studied about the types of spin-spin coupling and observed that there are different types depending upon the number of bonds present between the coupled proton. The couplings may be geminal, or couplings may be vicinal, or couplings may be long range. So we have a three type of couplings. Now coming to the effect of hybridization. Among all type of coupling, particularly the geminal coupling constant. Geminal coupling constants are depends upon the hybridization of the atom to which the coupled protons attached, called as 2J value. That is, all the 2J value geminal coupling constant values are depends only on the hybridization of the atom to which the coupled protons attached. For example, now as increasing the S character in the hybridization of the atom which bearing the coupled proton, or as increasing the bond angle between the coupled proton, the 2J value geminal coupling constant values are also increases. Example, HA hydrogen, HB hydrogen, oxygen here, you keep phenyl here and bromine here. This is one example. Another example, HA hydrogen, HB hydrogen, carbon here, double bond, carbon, pH and bromine. One is alpha bromostyrene epoxide, another one is alpha bromostyrene. This is epoxide and it is styrene. Now in the first example you see one hydrogen, HA hydrogen is cis to phenyl group, HB hydrogen is trans to phenyl group. That means HA HB protons are non-equivalent, hence coupled. Now there are two bonds which separated the coupled proton, that is AB. Therefore this is geminal coupling. This is geminal coupling. Now where the HA HB hydrogens are attached to the carbon, where its hybridization is sp3. This is sp3 hybridized carbon. sp3 hybridized carbon, where S character is only 25%. S character is only 25%, where the bond angle is equal to 109 degrees 28 minutes. Are you following? In the first example, where the carbon which bearing HA HB proton which are in coupling has the S character is a sp3 hybridized, consists of S character only 25%, and bond angle between the coupled proton AB proton is 109 degrees 28 minutes. Now J value is equal to 2J value, geminal coupling constant value is equal to say 1.9 Hz. 1.9 Hz. Now coming to the second example where HA is cis to phenyl, HB is trans to phenyl, means AB protons are non-equivalent. Again AB protons are non-equivalent, hence coupled. Now between the AB proton there are one bond and two bond, therefore it is geminal. So AB protons involved in the geminal type of couplings. Now where HAH, this is the carbon bearing AB proton which are under coupling. This carbon hybridization is sp2. Where the carbon hybridization is sp2, we know the S character is 33%. Where the bond angle is 120 degrees. Because it is sp2, the bond angle between the coupled proton is 120. Where 2J is equal to 3.3 Hz. 3.3 Hz. Now you observe where the protons which are under coupling attached by sp3 carbon, the J value is minimum, that is only 1.9 Hz. The same proton if attached by sp2 carbon, the J value is more, that is 3.3 Hz. What happens? From here to here, the S character in the hybridization increased from 25% to 33%, and the bond angle between the coupled proton is also increased from 109 degree 28 minutes to 120 degrees. Is it clear? So as increasing the S character, we can observe there is an increase in the geminal coupling constant. What is the reason? Let us find out. Now in the first case, where the coupled protons are attached by sp3 carbon, where its geometry is tetrahedral, that indicated AB protons are not in one plane. That is, whatever the bonding electrons present between the AB protons are not in one plane. In yesterday's class, we discussed about strongly coupled system, weakly coupled system. When the bonding electrons are not in one plane, they coupled but less strongly coupled or weakly coupled. Therefore, the J value is less. Now, as increasing S character in the hybridization of the atom bearing the coupled proton, what happens? The two coupled proton in the second example slowly come into a plane. That is, where the hybridization is sp2, the geometry become planar. That means in the second example, the bonding electrons between AB protons are in plane, therefore strongly coupled, and hence the 2J value, geminal coupling constant values are also more. This is the effect of hybridization. Now the second effect is there in the syllabus, that is effect of dihedral angle. Effect of dihedral angle. Effect of dihedral angle, which is represented with phi. Now now second type of couplings, that is vicinal couplings. Geminal is over. Geminal coupling constants are depends couplings, and coupling constants are depends upon hybridization of the atoms. Whereas coming to vicinal coupling constant, all the vicinal coupling constant values are depends upon the dihedral angle present between the coupled protons. Dihedral angle present between the coupled protons, that is the angle present between the proton of front carbon to that of the proton of second carbon. We can represent it as, example, you take CH3, CH2, Cl. Now where there are two sets of protons, if we presented the molecule in a Newman projection, say one proton is A, other proton is B. Now HA proton, HA proton, HA proton. Now these are there is a carbon backside. This is the CH3 group. Now CH2 group, HB proton, HB proton, chlorine here. So whatever the angle present between the carbon of front hydro HB and carbon of front to that of the carbon and HA of back, this is called as dihedral angle. Dihedral angle. So all the vicinal coupling constants are depends upon only the dihedral angle. Now the exact relationship present between the dihedral angle and vicinal coupling constants, that is the relation between the dihedral angle to that of the 3J value, where vicinal coupling constants are represented with 3J. 3 stands for number of bonds existed between the coupled protons. Therefore, now vicinal coupling where there are 3 bonds, therefore the J value is represented with 3J. The exact relationship between the dihedral angle and to that of the vicinal coupling constants were first described by Karplus. It was first the relation was first described by the Karplus. According to Karplus, the vicinal coupling constant values are maximum when the dihedral angle between the coupled proton is either 0 degree or 180 degree. 3J values are maximum. 3J values are maximum when the dihedral angle, that is phi, is equal to either 0 degree or 180 degree. 0 degree or 180 degree. And vicinal coupling constant values are minimum when the dihedral angle between the coupled proton is 90 degree. It is minimum. 3J values are minimum at dihedral angle is equal to 90 degree. So at 0 degree, at 180 degree dihedral angle, 3J values are maximum, whereas at 90 degree dihedral angle between the coupled proton, 3J values are minimum. At remaining dihedral angle values, the 3J values are in between. Is it clear? Now, at 0 degree, 180 degree, the dihedral angles are maximum. Starting further, he described that starting from 0 degree to 90 degree, as increasing the rotation between the CC single bond, there is a decrease. Say for example, this is the Newman projection, this is HA hydrogen, this is HB hydrogen. Where the two hydrogens are exactly eclipsed, the dihedral angle becomes 0. As increasing dihedral angle slowly from 0 degree to 90 degree, the 3J values are decreases. Vicinal coupling constant values are decreases. Further increasing the dihedral angle from 90 degrees to 180 degree, the vicinal coupling constant values are increases. He suggested that starting from 0 degrees to 90 degree, as increasing dihedral angle, 3J values are decreases. Further increasing dihedral angle from 90 degrees to 180 degree, 3J values are also increases. 3J values are also increases in this way. Now we can represent it as in a graphical one. with respect to 3J values in Hertz units on x-axis, the dihedral angle values on y-axis. Now, when the dihedral angle is 0 degree, this is say 90 degree, this is say 180 degree. The dihedral angle. So with respect to there is a graphical representation of the relation between the dihedral angle to that of vicinal coupling constant according to the Carr plus. With respect to the vicinal coupling constant values on x direction, y direction, and dihedral angle on x direction, 0 degree dihedral angle, 90 degrees and 180 degree dihedral angle, 0 degree, 90 degree and 180 degree. Now J value 0 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 like that. Now at 0 degree, the conformation is eclipsed. When there is a dihedral angle is 0 between the two protons on adjacent carbon, the conformation is known as eclipsed conformation. We can write here in this way. Say this is HA hydrogen, HB hydrogen, eclipsed. Are you following? When the 0 degree dihedral angle between the protons, AB protons, the conformation is known as eclipsed. When there is a 90 degree, it is known as Gaussian conformation. We can represent it as HA hydrogen, HB hydrogen. This is Gaussian conformation. Now, when the dihedral angle between the protons attached on adjacent carbon is 180 degree, it is known as staggered conformation. HA, HB. Now you see, between AB proton the dihedral angle is 0 degree. Here between AB it is 90. Here it is above A, below B. AB there is 180 degree dihedral angle. Now at 0 degree dihedral angle, that is under eclipsed conformation, it has maximum 3J value. Say 8 Hertz vicinal coupling constant value. As increasing the dihedral angle from 0 to 90 degree, the 3J value, vicinal coupling constant values are decreases. From 0 degrees to increasing 0 degrees to 90 degree dihedral angle, 3J values are slowly decreases. Further increasing from 90 to 180, the 3J values are increases. 3J values are slowly increases. For example, at 0 degree, the dihedral angle say 8 Hertz. At 180 degree, the dihedral angle, you can see, at this is the 180 degree, the dihedral angle is nearly 10 Hertz. Whereas at 90 degree dihedral angle, there is only 1 Hertz. 3J value is 1 Hertz. So this is the relation described by the Carr plus. Now let us find out what is the reason why the vicinal coupling constants are maximum at dihedral angle 0 degree and at 180 degree, and why it is minimum at 90 degree. Now when the conformation is eclipsed, where you can find the two coupled protons are exactly eclipsed. We can represent it as, say for example, HA hydrogen, this is HB hydrogen. Now you are observing from this side, observation. Now at 0 degree dihedral angle or under eclipsed conformation, the two hydrogen AB hydrogens are in plane. say the electron between Ha and carbon, carbon and carbon, carbon and Hb are in plane, therefore strongly coupled, hence there is a maximum coupling constant value. Similarly, if the conformation is staggered, Ha and the electron between Ha proton and carbon, carbon and carbon Hb are again in plane. All the electrons, bonding electrons between the coupled proton AB are in plane, therefore strongly coupled, and hence the 3J values are maximum. Is it clear? Now when the conformation is Gaussian, that is dihedral angle is 90 degree, where one hydrogen is moving above the plane, the other hydrogen moving below the plane, which can be represented as, say, in this way, Hb. Now under Gaussian conformation, when the dihedral angle is 90 degrees, one hydrogen is moving below the plane, the other hydrogen is moving above the plane, where the bonding electrons between AB protons are not in plane, therefore weakly coupled, and hence the coupling constant values are minimum. Weakly coupled and minimum 3J value can be found from Gaussian conformation. So this is the reason. Is it clear? Now further, he suggested the two formulas for calculating vicinal coupling constants depending upon the dihedral angles. Now 3J is equal to, the first equation, 3J is equal to 8.5 into cos square into the dihedral angle minus 0.28 vicinal coupling constant is equal to 8.5 into cos square into the dihedral angle whatever existed minus 0.28. This is used for the calculation of dihedral angle at 90 degrees. Now 3J is equal to 9.5 into cos square dihedral angle minus 0.28. This is another equation applicable for the calculation of 3J value when dihedral angle is 0 degree or 180 degree. These are the two equations suggested by Karplus. So in the first instance, when the dihedral angle is 90, we can consider 8.5. When the dihedral angle is 0 degree or 180 degree, we can consider 9.5. So this is about the factors that are affecting the coupling constant values. Let us move to next topic. Proton NMR spectrum (1H NMR spectrum of organic molecules). Proton NMR spectrum of organic molecules. Now few examples, I already told that few examples are included in the syllabus. We are going to study only those examples which are included in the syllabus. The first example, now you have to study the proton NMR spectrum for some organic molecule and this proton NMR spectrum of some inorganic molecules or inorganic complexes. Let us study first example, proton NMR spectrum of ethyl acetate. Ethyl acetate, proton NMR spectrum of ethyl acetate, where it has a geometry of CH3, structure of CH3, C double bond O, CH2, CH3. This is the ethyl acetate structure. Now, the first CH3 group is A, the second CH3 group is B, a CH2 group is C. There are three sets of proton, A set of proton, B set of proton, as well as C set of protons. Their values are like 1.1 ppm for first CH3 group, 2.2 for second CH2 group, that is CH3 group, that is B group, and CH2 group appear at 4.9 ppm. These are the values. Either you can remember the values or you can designate with the help of alphabets, A proton, B proton, C proton, according to the electron densities. Is it clear? Now coming to spin-spin coupling, where A proton has two adjacent, that is A protons coupled with the CH2 proton, according to n+1 rule, 2 plus 1 it becomes 3, that is a triplet. A proton appear as a triplet, a signal with a triplet multiplicity. Now coming to C proton coupled with the 3 hydrogens of A, according to n+1 rule, 3 plus 1 become 4. Therefore, C proton appear as a quartet. Now coming to B proton, where the B proton has no adjacent. There is no adjacent with respect to B proton. It may not involved. It is not involved in the coupling. When the nuclei is not involved in the coupling, its signal is appear as a singlet. One triplet, one quartet, one singlet is observed for ethyl acetate. We can represent it as first a quartet for C proton. C proton appear with a quartet, and B proton appear as a singlet. This is B proton singlet. A proton as a triplet. This is singlet, this is triplet. Now what are the intensities for quartet? It will be 1:3:3:1. The intensity ratio is 1:3:3:1. For triplet it is 1:2:1. That we studied in the spin-spin coupling topic. So this is about ethyl acetate spectrum. Now before going to present a spectrum, first you have to identify a proton with higher electron density, and then you have to designate with an alphabets. Say among the three sets of proton, this CH3 group has somewhat more electron density, therefore A. And then this is the CH3 group designated with VB. Why this has been designated A and why this designated as B? Because both are CH3, but this is the CH3 attached with CH2, whereas this is the CH3 attached by electron withdrawing carbonyl group. Thereby, when compared to in between these two, B proton has somewhat less electron density, hence designated with B. Then coming to the C, the leftover protons are C protons, where it attached with an oxygen which is more electronegative, that more withdraw the electron density, hence it has less electron density, designated with C. After that, you have to find out the multiplicity. For A proton, according to n+1 rule, 2 plus 1 it is triplet. Why triplet? Because it has two adjacents. For C proton, it coupled with the 3 protons of CH3, therefore quartet. Now for B proton there is no adjacent. Therefore it appear as a singlet. After that you have to present the spectrum as a triplet, singlet and quartet for ABC sets of proton, thereby designate the multiplicity within the parenthesis and indicate the intensities according to Pascal triangles. 1:3:3:1 for quartet, 1:2:1 for triplet. So this is the way of presentation and study of NMR spectrum. Now coming to the second molecule. Number 2, 2-butanone. 2-butanone, proton NMR spectrum for 2-butanone. Its structure CH3, C double bond O, CH2, CH3. This is 2-butanone. Now you can see again similar to ethyl acetate. This is A proton, this is B set, this is C set. Now with respect to frequency, the A protons are appear at 1.1 ppm, B protons are appear at 2.2 ppm, C protons are appeared at 3.3 ppm. Coming to multiplicity, A proton coupled with 2, therefore triplet. C proton coupled with 3, therefore quartet. It has no adjacent, there is no coupling, therefore singlet. Its spectrum is quite similar to ethyl acetate, but there is a difference in the absorption frequencies. Now you present the spectrum as quartet for C proton, of 1:3:3:1 intensity, and singlet for B proton. For B it is singlet, for A again it is triplet with 1:2:1 intensity. So this is the presentation of 2-butanone. Ethyl acetate and 2-butanone spectrums are same, where in the ethyl acetate we can observe 3 signal, here also 3 signal. First signal triplet, singlet and quartet, there triplet, singlet, quartet, here also. What is the difference? The difference is the absorption frequency. In the first instance, the CH2 is directly linked with oxygen, where it withdraw more electron density, hence downfield signal is appeared for CH2 proton. When compared with the ethyl acetate, here the CH2 proton, there is no oxygen. The CH2 proton has somewhat more electron density and appear at upfield when compared with the CH2 of ethyl acetate. This is only difference. Is it clear? Now coming to the third example. Mesitylene. Proton NMR spectrum for mesitylene. Now its structure CH3, CH3, CH3. There are 3 CH3 group and 3 protons on aromatic system. Now all the CH3 groups are attached symmetrically. CH3, CH3, CH3 become equivalent. Therefore you designate with A proton with a letter A with the value of 2.3 ppm. Now 3 aromatic protons are also symmetrically attached, therefore all become equivalent. HB, HB, HB. Equivalent protons should be designated with the same alphabet. B proton, B proton and B proton. Now the value is something 7.0 ppm. Is it clear? Now coming to spin-spin coupling. Now this is the CH3 group attached with this carbon, has no hydrogens. So the CH3 group has no adjacents. Therefore there is no coupling and appear as a singlet. singlet. Similarly, the aromatic hydrogen are also not having any adjacent proton. It is not involving in the spin-spin coupling, therefore appear as a singlet. Both CH3 proton and as well as the aromatic protons, both are appearing as a singlets. It can be represented as aromatic protons and then methyl protons. This is A set of proton signal and B set of proton signal. Singlet for aromatic, singlet for this. This is the intensity of 3 hydrogen. This is the intensity of 9 hydrogen. It has a simple, it exhibited a simple spectrum as there is no spin-spin coupling. This is about the mesitylene proton NMR spectrum. Now coming to the other example, fourth example, paracetamol. Paracetamol, proton NMR spectrum for paracetamol. Now it is a para-hydroxyacetonylide. Para-hydroxyacetonylide, NH, C double bond O, CH3. At para position there is a hydroxy group. There are aromatic protons. Aromatic protons. Now designation. This is the CH3 to be designated with A, then NH proton B, then OH proton C, then aromatic proton D and E. You observe a CH3 group is different from all other and designated to be designated with A. NH proton is also different from all other, it is non-equivalent, designated with B. The OH proton is also non-equivalent with respect to other, designated with C. Coming to aromatic protons, this is the proton. Now this is D, this is E. Now this is the proton ortho with respect to electron releasing OH, therefore D. This is the proton ortho with respect to acetonylide group which is electron withdrawing. So downfield D proton is somewhat upfield whereas E proton is downfield. Why downfield? Because it has adjacently to the electron withdrawing acetonylide group. So D and E protons are non-equivalent. Why non-equivalent? One with ortho to OH, one with ortho to acetonylide group, therefore non-equivalent. So we have 1 signal, 2 signal, 3 signal, 4 signal and 5 signals. The values are something like 2.1 for CH3, A proton. Now 3.6 for NH proton, OH proton something 4.3, the D proton is 7.1 whereas E proton is 7.5. These are the values. Once again, A proton, B proton, C proton, D proton, E proton, all protons of paracetamol are non-equivalent, therefore separately appeared. Is it clear? Now coming to the multiplicity, where the CH3 proton, A proton has no adjacent, therefore singlet. NH proton also has no adjacent, hence singlet. NH proton is also appear as a singlet. OH proton also not having any adjacent, therefore singlet. It is also appeared as a singlet. Now coming to D proton, the D proton has one adjacent, D coupled with E, therefore according to n+1 rule it appear as a doublet. Similarly, E proton has one adjacent, hence appear as a doublet. So A proton appeared singlet, B proton appeared singlet, C proton also appeared as a singlet, D proton as a doublet and E proton as a doublet. Now coming to presentation, the E proton doublet. This is E proton doublet. When the signal multiplicity is doublet, the intensity ratio is 1:1. 1:1. Now coming to D proton. D proton also appear as doublet. Doublet with 1:1 intensity ratio of 2 lines. Coming to C proton, which is a OH proton, it appear as a singlet, but it is broad singlet. Broad singlet. This is C proton. Similarly, NH proton is also appear as a broad singlet. Broad singlet. Broad singlet. Whereas CH3 proton signal appear as singlet. A singlet. Is it clear? Now here OH proton and NH protons are appear however as a singlet, but with a broadness. The signal is appear as a broad. That is, a molecule which contain a labile proton like OH proton, NH proton, SH proton and carboxylic acid proton. A proton which can be easily exchanged with other are known as labile proton. Their signals are not appearing at a constant absorption frequency value, are appearing in between the absorption frequencies depending upon the situation of the sample solution. Therefore, the signals appear as a broad. So, labile proton signals always appear as a broad. So, this is about paracetamol spectrum. After that, let us study another example, aspirin. NMR spectrum of aspirin. It is an acetyl salicylic acid. Acetyl salicylic acid. Acetyl salicylic acid. O C double bond O CH3 CO OH. There are 4 aromatic hydrogens. 4 aromatic hydrogens. Let us find out the sets of proton. This is the CH3 belongs to A. Is it clear? Now, this is the hydrogen belongs to B. This is C. This is D. This is E. And this proton is F. Are you following? Now, CH3 is non-equivalent from all other. Similarly, OH proton is, carboxylic acid proton is also non-equivalent from others. Coming to 4 aromatic protons. This is the proton ortho to acetate group, whereas this is the proton ortho to carboxylic acid group. Therefore, these two are non-equivalent. Coming to this proton, this is the proton, that is C proton. C proton is meta to acetate group. D proton is meta to carboxylic acid group. In this way, when B and E are non-equivalent, C and D are also non-equivalent. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming to the values, A proton appear at 2.2 ppm, F proton appear at 11.4 ppm, 11.4 ppm, more downfield, far downfield value when compared with the other. Coming to B, C, D and E protons. However, these 4 aromatic protons are non-equivalent, but the absorption frequency between B, C, D and E proton is too small. Absorption frequency between the 4 protons, however non-equivalent, but it is small. The difference is small. Hence, multiplicity signal of B, multiplicity signal of C, D and E, all multiplicity signal corresponding to 4 hydrogens get overlapped. Why overlapped? Because the absorption frequency between the B, C, D, E protons are too small. That is, the signals are appear very close to each other. When the signals are very close to each other, what happens? Multiplicity lines get overlapped. Not possible to predict the signal corresponding to which set of proton because of overlapping. Therefore, the 4 aromatic signals will be considered as a multiplet. Now, we already discussed in the spin-spin coupling that when we are unable to predict the number of lines in a signal, the signal to be considered as a multiplet. Here also, because of overlapping multiplicity, we are unable to study the number of lines appeared for each proton. Therefore, all the proton signal will be considered as multiplet, a multiplet. Is it clear? And this signal is appeared in between 7.4 to 7.7 ppm as a multiplet. Now, presentation. Now, coming to multiplicity of CH3. The CH3, that is a set of proton, has no adjacent, therefore singlet. Singlet. The carboxylic acid proton also not having any adjacent, therefore singlet. So, CH3 singlet, carboxylic acid singlet, and aromatic protons as multiplet. We can present it as, this is carboxylic acid proton, that is F proton or COOH proton as singlet. Singlet. Next, aromatic proton is presented in this way. Aromatic proton as multiplet. You can see all the signals corresponding to 4 protons get overlapped. This is the multiplicity appeared. And A proton as singlet. That is CH3 proton appear as a singlet. So, this is about aspirin spectrum. Is it clear? Now, coming to other example, ethyl benzoate. The NMR spectrum for ethyl benzoate. Let us take its structure. COO, this is benzoic acid. You attach ethyl group, it become ethyl benzoate. Let us, this is A proton, this is B proton, HC proton, HD proton, HD proton, HE proton. Is it clear? Now you see, this is A set of proton, non-equivalent from all other. This is B set of proton. Now coming to, there are 5 aromatic protons. Here, these 2 protons are equivalent because ortho to this group, carboxylic acid group. And these 2 protons are also equivalent, hence C and C. D and D, these 2 protons are also equivalent because these 2 protons are meta with respect to this group. And coming to para-hydrogen, this proton is different from C proton and D proton, as C is ortho, D is meta, E is para. So there are 3 sets of aromatic protons. C set has 2 proton, D set has 2 proton, and E set also has 2 protons. Similarly, in the first case, as we studied in the aspirin case. However, there are 3 sets of aromatic protons, but the absorption frequency difference is too small, hence overlapped. Therefore, we could consider all the 5 hydrogen signal as a multiplet. as a multiplet between 7.4 to 7.6 ppm. Now CH3 proton, it has 2 adjacent, hence triplet. CH2 proton has 3 adjacent, hence it has quartet multiplicity. The values are 1.2 for CH3 and 3.9 for CH2 proton. So A proton, B proton, aromatic protons lying under 3 groups C, D and E, 2 ortho, 2 meta, 1 para. But because of low frequency difference between ortho, meta and para proton, however they are non-equivalent, but their multiplicities are overlapped, hence we could consider it as a multiplet. Then we can present the spectrum. First, aromatic multiplicity. This is multiplet signal for aromatic proton at 7.6 to 7.4 ppm. For B proton, it is quartet 1, 2, 3 and 4. For B proton, it is quartet with 1:3:3:1 intensity. For A proton, it is triplet. It is triplet with 1:2:1 intensity. This is the NMR spectrum of ethyl benzoate. One multiplicity for 4 aromatic hydrogen, a quartet for CH2 in the ethyl group, a triplet for CH3 again in the ethyl group. Is it clear? Now coming to other example. Benzyl acetate. Benzyl acetate. Now its structure has this is CH2 group, benzyl group. You keep acetate group on this OCOCH3. This become benzyl acetate. Up to this PHCH2 is the benzyl. This is acetate group, benzyl acetate. Now there are 5 aromatic hydrogen. Comes under one group. All the 5 aromatic hydrogens are grouped under one group. This is A proton. CH2 proton belongs to B category. All the 5 hydrogens of benzene ring comes under one category, that is C category. Now coming to the value, A proton is appear at 2.2 ppm, B proton is appear at 4.7 ppm, aromatic protons appear at 7.0 ppm. Now A proton has no adjacent, therefore singlet. It appear with a singlet. B proton also has no adjacent, therefore singlet. Now all the 5 aromatic hydrogen, you can see here, these 2 protons are ortho to this group, these 2 protons are meta to this group, and this is para to this group. So there are 5 aromatic hydrogen. Look like the 2 hydrogens are ortho with respect to substituent, 2 other are meta, 1 proton belongs to para with respect to a substituent. Is it clear? But we considered in this case all aromatic protons in the first instance, in the case of ethyl benzoate, where ortho protons are different from meta proton and para proton. But in the case of benzyl acetate, in this example, 2 ortho protons, 2 meta protons and 1 para protons are equivalent. I can explain why. Therefore, comes under one group at 7.0 ppm as a singlet. Are you following? Why all the aromatic protons, that is the 2 ortho, 2 meta and 1 para proton become equivalent? Let us discuss. Any substituent that attached to the aromatic system if does not affect the resonance of the aromatic system. Any substituent that attached to the aromatic system or aromatic ring if does not change the resonance of the aromatic ring make ortho meta para protons as equivalent. Make ortho meta and para protons as equivalent. Now in this case, where aromatic ring is attached by CH2 group which is alkyl, when aromatic ring is attached by alkyl group, there is no change in the resonance of benzene ring or aromatic ring. Therefore, ortho meta and para protons become equivalent and appear as a singlet. Is it clear? Now, if any substituent that attached to the aromatic ring, if changes the resonance of the ring, can make ortho para meta protons as non-equivalent. A simple concept. A group if does not affect the aromatic resonance make ortho meta para protons equivalent. A group that changes the aromatic ring resonance make ortho meta para protons as non-equivalent. Is it clear? Now here the ring is attached with the alkyl group, that is CH2 group, which is unable to affect the resonance of benzene. There is no change in the resonance of benzene. Therefore, appear ortho meta and para protons become equivalent and appeared as a singlet. Let us present the spectrum. For aromatic proton, there is a singlet. This is aromatic hydrogen as a singlet. For B proton, again it is a singlet. Why B proton appear as a singlet? Because it has no adjacent, there is no coupling. Similarly, A proton is also singlet. Now here 3 hydrogen intensity, 2 hydrogen intensity, this signal has 5 hydrogen intensity. So 3 signals are appeared for benzyl acetate. This is the proton NMR spectrum of benzyl acetate. Now coming to (2-chloropropionic acid). (2-chloropropionic acid) NMR spectrum, that is CH3, this is CH, chlorine here, COOH. Alpha chloro or 2-chloropropionic acid. This is propionic acid. CH3, CH, COOH is the propionic acid. There is a chloro group at second position. Therefore, it is 2-chloropropionic acid. Let us designate the nuclei. CH3 protons are equivalent A. CH proton is non-equivalent from CH3. This is B proton. This is C proton. There are 3 sets of proton. A set of proton, B set of proton and C set of proton. The values are something like CH3 proton signal appear at 1.4 ppm. CH proton signal appear at 4.5 ppm, 11.4 ppm for carboxylic acid proton for downfield value. Multiplicities. CH3 coupled with one adjacent, therefore doublet. CH proton coupled with 3 adjacent, therefore quartet. 1 plus 3 quartet, 1 plus 1 doublet. OH proton has no adjacent, therefore singlet. OH proton has no adjacent here. Thus A set of CH3 group coupled with its adjacent CH proton, there is only one proton, therefore doublet for CH3. A CH proton, that is B group of proton, coupled with its adjacent 3 proton, that is CH3. Therefore, according to n plus 1 rule, its signal multiplicity is quartet. Coming to carboxylic acid proton, where the carboxylic acid proton has no adjacent, therefore it may not involve, it not involving in the spin-spin coupling, and hence it appear as a singlet. Now its spectrum: a carboxylic acid, a quartet for CH 2, 3 and 4, this is CH proton, and a doublet for CH3, doublet signal for CH3. Now this is singlet multiplicity, this is quartet multiplicity, this is doublet multiplicity. Coming to intensity, quartet has 1:3:3:1 intensity ratio, whereas doublet has intensity ratio of 1:1. So 2-chloropropionic acid has 3 sets of proton, therefore 3 signals appeared. CH3 as a doublet, CH proton as quartet, and carboxylic acid proton as a singlet, because it has no adjacent. So these are the examples of organic molecule which are included in the syllabus. That is, NMR, according to syllabus, you have to study the NMR spectrum of ethyl acetate, 2-butanone, mesitylene, paracetamol, aspirin, ethyl benzoate and benzyl acetate, 2-chloropropionic acid. These are the only molecules included in the syllabus, hence we discussed. Now there are 3 inorganic complexes included in the syllabus for the study of their proton NMR spectrum. They may be nickel, one is nickel complex, other one is rhodium complex, the other one is platinum complex. So the other topics will be discussed in the next class. So with this I complete today's my lecture. Thank you very much. Once again I request all the students of MSc Chemistry of first semester, you please watch my video lecture again and again until you learned the concept of proton NMR spectroscopy. And I also request, as I am sending each and every lecture notes through your WhatsApp group, you please watch the lecture and note down the notes or write down the notes what I sent to you for each lecture, and read well and learn the concept of NMR spectroscopy. As again you have to study the proton NMR spectroscopy in your second semester and in your also third semester. Up to third semester there is a spectroscopic topics included in the syllabus, proton NMR spectroscopy. Now in the second semester there is a proton NMR spectroscopy, fluorine NMR spectroscopy, phosphorus NMR spectroscopy. In the third semester there is a carbon NMR spectroscopy, 2-dimensional NMR spectroscopy and optical rotatory dispersion. So these are the whole topics included in your 2 years course of MSc Chemistry. In order to learn spectroscopy well in a coming semester, you please learn whatever the basics of first semester very well. Thank you very much.